Hi, welcome to Know It Olly ELI5's Black Swan events. So, a Black Swan event is a rare event that has extremely severe consequences. A volcano exploding, wiping out a village. That would be a Black Swan event if there were no earthquakes or indications that the volcano was going to go beforehand. It's not predicted, but hindsight often looks at these events and says they should have been predicted. The phrase originates from the English, who had only ever seen white swans. They thought that black swans were something that simply didn't exist. Many years after this claim was made, black swans were discovered in Australia, making a black swan event an event that everyone believed to be impossible and not ever going to happen. No one would ever find a black swan. However, it appears at a very unexpected time and place, middle of Australia, many centuries later. Actually, a great story about black swans legitimately. They tried to move a flock of black swans from Australia to New Zealand deliberately. It failed. The entire flock died out. They were pretty miserable and they didn't have any success taking to the zone. Less than 10 years later, in a Mother Nature's, you think you know what you're doing, a flock of swans were blown in a storm from Australia to New Zealand. There is now a thriving colony of black swans in New Zealand. This just goes to prove that nature's going to do what nature's going to do, and black swans are going to show up where black swans are going to show up. So, was 2008 really a black swan event? I don't think so. I think that it was a fully predictable event that, in hindsight, many people did see, but the vast majority of people simply ignored. Perfect example, go and watch the movie The Big Short. They looked, they found, they bet, they won. It was not unexpected, the housing crash that came. It was a very reasonable conclusion based on a series of events that led to an inevitable conclusion. And a few people were able to see it coming. They made big bets that made big money because they looked. That's all they had to do was they looked. So is 2008 really a black swan? No, I don't think so. People saw it coming. It was predicted. People ignored it because they were making money. That doesn't make it a black swan. So the question is this crisis that's next coming going to be a black swan? I don't think so. I honestly expected it to have happened sometime within the last 12 months. It hasn't happened. Apparently, the market can stay insane longer than most people can stay solvent, as we're seeing with a lot of hedge funds right now. So is the next crisis really a black swan? I don't think so, because I have over a dozen people, dozen different financial educators online that I watch and listen to, and every single one of them is having guests on every week that are saying, this isn't right, something's wrong. I don't think this is a black swan. I'm simply sitting here waiting to see which entity is going to show its cracks first. It's not unexpected. I'm simply waiting to see which one goes down first and drags the rest of them down with it. So, what does this mean for GameStop and the mother of all short squeezes? Well, the fundamentals for the short squeeze are already in place. They've been in place for a long time, and the SEC themselves have confirmed that the setup has not changed. It's still in place. The only thing needed is to direct register your shares and be patient. Because when the next black swan shows up at some point, likely within the next 12 to 18 months, please not that long, but anyway, the result will be that GameStop's price will go to the moon because this black swan will have extremely destructive effects throughout the entire market, which will decrease the price of many stocks and bonds and treasuries that are currently out there being used as collateral. And it's going to force an event where your collateral's not worth anything, so you have to sell things. It's a whole mess, but I explain that in other videos. The point is, black swan events are rare events that have severe consequences. that were not seen coming. I don't believe the '08 crisis was a black swan. I think the tech bubble was a bit more of a black swan event, but I don't think the '08 crisis was, because that was totally predicted by a large number of people. And this one that we're currently walking into right now has been predicted by even more people. So I don't think it's a black swan. It's simply being patient to see what knocks this entire house of cards down. Know it, Ollie out.